Hi students, Maliki here. I'm going to do a series of videos for you to help you along the way with your timber project that's coming up in semester 1. And so Pierce has kindly supplied me with the PDFs that you're going to be using. So just to take a quick look at these, because we have a bit of figuring out to be done on this before we get into Revit. We need to decide on a particular approach. So a description of the buildings is two stories and two 3 stories. This is the 2-story element, and if I go through to the other PDF, you can see that's the 3-story there. All right. Now, what's important here is the layout as well. So we got the 2 stories on the left and the 3 stories on the right. Let's just take a closer look at the plan. Okay. Now, notice that these are coming in at a scale of 1:100, but I suspect they're printed out at on an A3 sheet rather than an A1 sheet. So keep an eye out for that, and I'll show you how we're going to get around that too. You can see, first thing I notice over here is that there is kind of a window and with an opening section. Now that is if this house is at the end of the gable, and we can see here that it's not. All right. Yeah, that's correct. So we can ignore that. You can also see as well that there are lines here. Now I wouldn't call these grid lines, I'd call them just center lines. And that this is not a complete external wall, and if this is anything, it's an internal party wall as well there. So my strategy here is going to be that I'm going to set up grids on the inside finish face. Okay, so there'll be one grid across here, across there, across here, and then there'll be one on the inside face coming down there, coming down here. Yeah, I'll probably put one on this wall as well here, because it looks to me like it's continuing straight up there, and if it is, I'll create a grid line that's in which this wall is centered on that one rather than finish face interior. Now there's another reason I'm doing the finish face interior is because we have not decided what size these walls are as yet. This is a typical planning drawing, and this is what you're going to be faced with when you're in the office. You'll get something like this, but we have to put technical design, technical details in around this. So as you will know, you'll find out from your research, the party wall in a timber framed house is quite a wide thing, because it's basically 2 walls with a gap in between. You notice as well on the elevation here that we got brick from ground to first, and then I think it's a timber cladding. Get the note here. Select a timber cladding to the wall. Okay, so that means that the first floor walls will actually be thinner than the external walls. And what we want to do is continue the interior finish face straight up, and if there's a little bit of where the difference in the width comes into play, it'll come into play at this transition from the brick to the timber in that case there. Right, so so using some of the dimensions that I have here, as I said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to design this so that my grids are on the finish face interior. Now that's one decision made. So what we need to do then is take a look at some of the details that might be involved in something like that. So I've opened up a new project here in Revit using the TU Dublin 2005 Revit template, which you have access through on your Engage. Okay, and I've got some details that I have picked up here from the detail library, Emma Walsall's detail library company, and you can see there's the transition from the brickwork to the timber with a straight flush finish on the inside here. So that's what I want to achieve there. So we're talking about 380 for the top wall and 472 for the bottom wall. So substantial difference there with the the transition happening here with a powder coated aluminium drip tray in there as well. Now, it's important to state at this point here that this is my interpretation of the brief, and there might be a different interpretation that you will decide from your research into timber framed houses and some of the details that the likes of Signum and other companies who deal in timber frame might produce. Okay, so don't research one thing and then do another in your Revit model. You need to stick to the same, sing up the same hymn sheet, if you like. Another detail you need to look at this is the party wall here, which is 300 mil. Okay, by the time it's finished, 300 mil. So based on that, based on 472 and 300 mil here, I can go back into my PDFs and take note of those and then work out a set of dimensions to suit the grids for the interior finish face. Now, I hope all that made good sense to you, and that's the way I would tackle it. If you think about it, if you took that dimension there, right, 6390, and put a grid line here and a grid line there, by the time you have put 479, wasn't it, of the external wall here, what's going to happen is you're either going to lose square meter area within the interior of the building, or you're going to lose square meter area on the exterior. And if you've got tight boundaries, that could be a severe problem. Also, when you think about it, when you get a planning permission here in Ireland, you get a planning permission for a certain square meter of accommodation of a house, all right? And that's measured from the interior face. So it doesn't take into account the thickness of the exterior walls. So what we want to achieve is the same total floor plate of the house that you have been given planning permission for, which is another reason why you would go and put your grids on the interior finish face. Okay, so that is part one, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to build those walls within Revit, and then I'll lay out the grids and we'll get underway with this. Okay.